A web search engine is a software system that is designed to search for information on the internet. Google is the currently leading search engine of our times. The cultural significance of Google is astounding. Google is even a verb.
Hey Mary, when was Shakespeare born?
I don't know. Let me Bing that for you.
Thanks.
There are over 40,000 Google searches in every second, which translates to over 3.5 billion Google searches per day. The very existence of Google is political, but because we use it so frequently, we don't ever stop to think about the social and political implications of that.
In 2010, when faced with a lawsuit regarding the improper scanning of emails to deliver ads to customers, Google claimed that its activities were within an ordinary course of business. When more information was released about the nature of this email probing, and it was quickly uncovered that messages were actually being read, analyzed, and sold to various companies and ad organizations, Google claimed that its customers had agreed to such a procedure. But Google never told Gmail users that Google would create personal profiles and target users with ads. Nor did people who were not Gmail users, but who were writing to Gmail addresses, agree to let Google collect and parse their messages. In 2013, Google was accused and found guilty of what Australian regulator Stephen Conroy called probably the single greatest breach in the history of privacy. The Google cars, designed to collect street shots throughout the world for the extensive Google Maps project, were not just taking pictures. For at least 2 years, the company also secretly collected personal information, email, medical, and financial records, and passwords as it cruised by. It was data scooping from millions of unencrypted wireless networks. Google claimed that it was the work of one stray recluse engineer. It was not. Google said the data collected in this illegal and intrusive manner had been destroyed. It was not, and some of it still remains to this day. Google lost this lawsuit and paid a $7 million fine. To place this in context, Google rakes in $23,509 of pure profit every minute. It rakes in approximately $1.4 million in profit every hour, and approximately $33 million in profit every day. After years of stealing some of the most valuable and guarded pieces of information from citizens around the country, Google righted their wrongs by forking over the equivalent of 5 hours, yes, 5 hours of profit.
Just by typing something into the Google engine search bar, the search engine's autocomplete function will predict what you might be looking for. These suggestions, generated by an algorithm, are a reflection of the search activity of users and the content of web pages. So what does the internet think about Jews in Israel? The short answer is bad. The long answer is worse than you think. When you Google, Israel has become, the first suggestion is Nazi Germany. When you Google the Holocaust is, the first suggestion that pops up is the Holocaust is a lie. The obsession with Israel is all-encompassing. Even before Google thinks you might want to know why people are gay, always a perennial worry, or why are flamingos pink, how many people actually Google this, it assumes you want to know why are Israel and Gaza fighting. Nothing is more important. You might think that Google will try to do something about problematic search results, especially those that appear racist, sexist, or anti-Semitic. You'd think that Google could put these results, let's say, on the second or third page, but no, they don't, except where it's illegal. Google will not show any Holocaust denial and neo-Nazi websites in France and Germany where Holocaust denial is illegal. The American Jewish community and the Anti-Defamation League have recently challenged Google's priority of ranking anti-Semitic and Holocaust denial websites. Search engine results have been so problematic that in 2011, Google issued a statement about its search process and encouraged people to use the terms Jews and Jewish people in their searches as opposed to the sometimes derogatory term Jew, which frequently pops up with anti-Semitic results, which Google claims they can do nothing about. However, we know this is not the case.
What does it mean when something is ungoogleable? It's sort of a common belief that we can find anything we want on Google, so how could something be ungoogleable? As a business, a cultural institution, or a social space, Google has a profound effect on the digital world. The experience of Google is different for everyone. Someone in Chicago, Illinois is not going to have exactly the same experience or exactly the same information as someone in Moose Breath, Montana. One of the more highly publicized examples of this difference is illustrated by the censorship debates in countries such as China, Iran, and Vietnam. The pervasive Google censorship that occurs in many of these countries is not necessarily condoned by Google, but the corporation does have a hand in restricting access, according to the laws and regulations around internet censorship in these individual countries. Google often works in conjunction with these countries and their governments to allow this censorship to continue. Common and valid complaints about this practice include the concern that Google is helping these governments withhold information from its citizens. This is especially a concern for countries where political upheaval is common, and oppressive governments may have a vested interest in depriving its citizens of information. To complicate this issue of censorship, though, we need to look to Germany and France, where Google has censored search results that espouse white nationalist, Nazi, and anti-Semitic websites, along with some more violent websites. Most of us would probably agree that these are awful things, but even good censorship needs to be placed within its proper political and social context. These aren't objective truths about right and wrong, but they're all somehow politically motivated. Google censorship is not just the product of oppressive, evil governments. That's too simplistic. Google's complicity in this controlling of information has to be explored, because it could be used in so many different ways to achieve just as many different results. While we may agree with its censorship policies in one country, it might be just the opposite for many others. If you think that Google censorship is something that only happens somewhere else, next time you search for a song by your favorite artist or a picture from your favorite movie, look down at the bottom of the page and you might see this. This probably doesn't shock most of us, but even in the United States, there are websites that are ungoogleable.
It's no secret that there is still racism all around us, but the fact that some of these already ignorant ideologies currently affect the searches people make online is appalling. Despite the fact that technology is supposed to be something that helps people, in this case, it is also something that can hurt people. For a long time, just by searching black girls into Google, pornography would be the top result. In regards to searches for white women, most of the searches that come up after typing in white girls are related to social media or pop culture. The related searches that pop up consist of white girls dating black men, racist white girls, and white girls are easy. But even so, despite the fact that these related searches are hinting at inappropriate content, there are still no results for pornography. So why is that? According to Sophia Noble's research, the largest commercial search engines fail to provide relevant and culturally situated knowledge on how women of color have traditionally been discriminated against, denied rights, or been violated in society, and the media, even though we have organized and resisted this on many levels. The fact that our society has gone through the civil rights movement and subsequent other equality movements, the underlying racism still finds a way to shine through to the top. Search engine bias is a real thing, and it is affecting more people than we may realize.